5eyesMah, you did it again. Curse evil.
Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. 432, you don't hear me clearly. Most high love me or hide me dearly. Faucet flowing, water cure me. Oh, wow, I bow, please gear me. Power me up, destroy they tyranny. Media shower dies, they mourning. Swinging and banging, lucrative learning. Flowing my wisdom, saving my earning. Opening shades, peel back the curtain. Beating the beat and watching them hurting. Frequency right in the tribe, I'm alerting. Primary flow, I'm gulping and burping. Hijack energy, slipping and swerving. Banging and falling, crashing and burning. Rapping in rhythm and evil, I'm cursing. Hijack work really ain't working. 5G don't work over my zone. VV guess ain't my favorite stone. Are they real or are they really clone? Never leave while I'm an organ. Organize energy in every song. Most high connected through my lung. Give me 4 seasons on my tongue. Storm from my mouth, then watch them run. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy.
Etheric Flow. 5eyesMah. Lego. Hey, we popping off tribe of music. If you ain't never heard or thought, you can never hear the sound of tribe of music, I mean, who would have thought, what I'm saying, that the content from the cons, would be spiraling up continuously in the 432 hertz frequency. That's tribe of music, my naga. It's Nagas from the street, that's choosing up KTC in the spiral flow. And we're in an entirely different frequency, though. We in swag frequency. So how you catch up to that? This come from the heart bone right here, man. Curse evil.
Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. 432, you don't hear me clearly. Most high love me or hide me dearly. Faucet flowing, water cure me. Oh, wow, I bow, please gear me. Power me up, destroy they tyranny. Media shower dies, they mourning. Swinging and banging, lucrative learning. Flowing my wisdom, saving my earning. Opening shades, peel back the curtain. Beating the beat and watching them hurting. Frequency right in the tribe, I'm alerting. Primary flow, I'm gulping and burping. Hijack energy, slipping and swerving. Banging and falling, crashing and burning. Rapping in rhythm and evil, I'm cursing. Hijack work really ain't working. 5G don't work over my zone. VV guess ain't my favorite stone. Are they real or are they really clone? Never leave while I'm an organ. Organize energy in every song. Most high connected through my lung. Give me 4 seasons on my tongue. Storm from my mouth, then watch them run. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame.
Man. Hey, this is taking tribe up music to a whole nother level. Look out for the 5eyesMah pack. Pack with 5eyesMah music, tribe up music. You know what I'm saying? And some great drop, man. You know what I'm saying? That the bro wants to share on his own flash drive. And that's the beautiful thing is that we ain't dropping albums. We drop packs. These flash drives contain the music and a gang of files, books, everything that each artist, each producer want to share. Look out for the Yosef the Real pack. Get all that primary recon, that primary mem recon, man. Radio shows, all that flow, you know what I'm saying? So look out for the Yosef the Real pack. And if you got, some great drop to share, we'll do a pack with you too, Holla at us, music at 432thedrop.com. But first, we popping off Tribe of Music. The bro said to curse evil. Don't that make sense now? Dancing dragons, man. Where's my dragon, man? Where my dragon at, though, man?
I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body rock in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name.
Here they go.
I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body.
Here they go.
Rock in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. 4, 3, 2, you don't hear me clearly. Most high love me or hide me dearly. Faucet flowing, water cure me. Oh, I bow, please gear me. Power me up, destroy they tyranny. Media shower dies, they mourning. Swinging and banging, lucrative learning. Flowing my wisdom, saving my earning. Opening shades, peel back the curtain. Beating the beat and watching them hurting. Frequency right, then the tribe, I'm alerting. Primary flow, I'm gulping and burping. Hijack energy, slipping and swerving. Banging and falling, crashing and burning. Rapping in rhythm and evil, I'm cursing. Hijack work really ain't working. 5G don't work over my zone. VV guess ain't my favorite stone. Are they real or are they really clone? Never leave out, I'm an organ. Organized energy in every song. Most high connected through my lung. Give me 4 seasons on my tongue. Storm from my mouth and watch them run. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body rock in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body rock in the top too shoddy. Guns are locked outside, red ruddy.
5eyesMah, my noggin. Hey, we frequency up around here. And it's that naturalbylaw.net. Stop what you're doing. Click the link below. Natural by law. Genius flow. Yeah, man. Hey, pop off, man. Natural by law, man. Clap it up for my noggin. Clap it up for my noggin. Bodies on bodies, man. Hey, bodies on bodies, man. Hey, we over here slaying Hijack City, man. You know what I'm saying? The bro popped off naturalbylaw.net, my noggin. If you ain't gone to it, if you ain't dug on it yet, please click the link below. The bro has organized some of the most beautiful crystal pieces you ever gonna see. And I've never seen nothing like this with the crystal in the water, the frequency of the water. You got the obsidian flow, tiger eye flow, rose quartz flow, all the assortments, beautifully organized, beautifully stocked. He must get them on a low because he sure does let them go on a low. Matter of fact, he's been sending them out to the whole tribe. You know what I'm saying? You see, man, like we've been getting hooked up, man. We've been getting hooked up, man. So the bro's been hooking us up. Go, you know what I'm saying? Show the bro the pure AHA, man. Go get you some of that, citrine. You know what I'm saying? You might want citrine in your cup, my naga. You know what I'm saying? You might want to frequency up with the citrine, man. Hey, he got the beautiful flow. Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. Oh, you just popping off, man. Just imagine your water just frequencied up, man. Hey, the bro got all the drops. He got, you know what I'm saying, a little bit about, each property, you know what I'm saying? Because you might not know, like I don't know a lot. I ain't Crystal James, man. Shout out to Crystal James Jewelry. All this is going to be back in our drop shop. This is going to be popping off exclusive in the drop shop right here. We'll make sure Drop Nation has the exclusive at naturalbylaw.net because, you know what I'm saying, he do it for the tribe, man. And you see what it is. It's all a vibe right here. Road at night. This always reminds me of the Rodon drop, man. Hey, do what you got to do, I'm an amethyst guy myself, He said, copper top with the melanin body. Hey, 5eyesMah, you popping off. And it just makes so much sense, man. The tribe is all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And, please support the indigenous cons as we pop off. And look for, just look out for us, man. Look out for this popping off in the drop shop at 432thedrop.com, exclusive real soon. For now, click the link below, go directly to this link right here at naturalbylaw.net and get the exclusive, man, and make sure the bro, you know what I'm saying, feels your support, feels your AHA, because so much has gone into popping off this project right here. So I just want to show my bro, you know what I'm saying, the true AHA, and I appreciate the care package. You'll see it soon on IG when I drop it. I mean, we got like a whole crystal grid love to the bro. He really hooked us up, man. He's been hooking up the whole tribe, just truly, pushing it forward, man. You know what I'm saying? So the tribe from Coon look like them dragon eggs around here, though, man. Where's my dragon egg now? My pyrite. Yeah, man. Show you enough, man. This is beautiful, man. I'm just really encouraged, you know what I'm saying, just to be a part of what the creativity is bringing. Oh, look at this, man. Oh, yeah. I'm an obsidian naga. Let's go, man. Let's go. You want that obsidian naga flow? Pop off, man. Rainbow spheres. Okay. Yeah. It's gorgeous, man. You got the turtle flow. Yeah. You see what it is, man. So enjoy the flow. The tourmaline. Yeah, I think he got me one of them joints. All right. Obsidian Arrowheads. Man, he's having a good time over here. Support naturalbylaw.net. And hey, if I ain't said it yet, man, hey, fair use and your caboose bone, Hijack City. Don't come over here jamming us up, man. Hey, Red Ruddy, man. Lucky Lamar, what it do, man? Red Ruddy. Hey, we over here doing some teaching, criticism, comments, news reporting, scholarship, recon, all in the way, man. Yeah.
I disregard what I consider fraud. They found me when they got off the on star, praying to the stars when they came with the squad. Now you lying, saying I ain't American. Got arrogant, changed the narrative. But with species now perilous everywhere we live. All the pain, the pressure of being inherited. But it's imperative we honor our heritage. Yeah, I got an 18-year-old with a heart of gold, love him with my heart and soul. I'm too young to tell him what he ought to know. That our story was erased and replaced with the concept of race, with the color of your skin got a place. Lost without a trace, like stars in outer space. And tell him capitalism's a devil without a face. You sugarcoat it. I take a line from the book and quote it. The definition of American. Look who wrote it. It's referring to the copper-colored tribe. I ain't African-American, that story full of lies. His story made history. My story is a mystery. We had to go through all this to see. It's a gift to be.
Red Ruddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Red Ruddy.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, his story made history. My story is a mystery. We had to go through all this to see. It's a gift to be. Red Ruddy. Yeah, buddy.
Red Ruddy.
Yeah, buddy. Hey.
Oh, wow.
Hear my soul cry.
Oh, wow.
Give life to the dying.
Wow.
Bring more love into my world.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Don't let
Yeah.
me forget.
Hey, man, that's that Lucky Lamar, man. What it do, man? Shout out to the 5eyesMah playlist. We got the Tribe of Music, man, popping off. Click the link below for the Tribe of Music at 5eyesMah exclusively, man. Because 5eyesMah, really popped off the vision for the Tribe of Music, you know what I'm saying? It just made us know that, it was really our time, you know what I'm saying, to spiral up in this frequency and with this particular flow and the content and the recon we do. We got nothing but good things to say, as a tribe. So we got a lot to do as a compilation. Look out for the Tribe of Music packs that will, go to support the artists, the producers, you know what I'm saying, that are putting out the Tribe of Music as well. So we got the 5eyesMah pack dropping off, man, you know what I'm saying, real soon. We got the Yosef the Real pack dropping real soon. All this is being, coming right at you, man, because this is our way to support our families, to support our vision, the things that we want to do, the businesses we want to pop off with, the investments we want to make, you know what I'm saying, and the building projects we want to do. So PAX is how we going to do it, With a flash drive, you got all the data, so you got the MP3, but you also got the PDFs, the maps, you know what I'm saying? You got, just any type of just secret drop, any type of, great, things that we just want to slip in there and say, hey man, you get this, but we really got a special surprise for you on there as well. So, you know, along with the music and the radio shows, I mean, Ma and Yosef, I mean, have already done over 45 weeks in the ether for season 4 alone. So on their packs, you get a gang of their, content that they do 1 hour a week, you know what I'm saying, that they've been putting in for seasons and seasons. So, so much content, so much flow, so much vibration. I'm talking 5eyesMah, I'm talking Yosef the Real. And those are the next 2 packs dropping, man. Y'all been supporting the Ether Pack. Y'all hear me back here, man. I got the Ether Packs right here, man. I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, just pumping them out, filling them up. We got a gang of them going out tomorrow. If you ordered your Ether Pack 1 or 2, I really appreciate you, as well as your Prester Packs. Some people called up and got all of them, the Ether 1, Ether 2, the Prester Pack. They got the Ether Band Flat Pack, and A-Hop to you, you know what I'm saying, just for, the tremendous support you've done, you know what I'm saying, just continuously, as continuous, you know, consistent cons. We got consistent cons sponsoring 432 to Drive Radio, my dragons on the wall, copper dragons, silver dragons, gold dragons that continue to keep the lights on and the water flowing. Without you, we cannot be here. So, A-Hop to the sponsors at 432. And, you know what I'm saying, just Halal HaWah for you, all the contributors, all the donations, you know what I'm saying, however you're getting it, however you're making that water flow, you're doing it for the tribe, and we appreciate you because we really do need you. And we got a lot of, big visions and big plans, but we're doing it, you know what I'm saying, real steadily. And that's what I appreciate, is that we can do things one at a time. And this fence we building, look out for the GoFundMe. It's coming in hot, and it's time to build a fence. So let's see what we can do, my Naga. Let's see, just witness the magic, of the Nagas when we focus on one thing at a time. My 500 code keeping Nagas, I know you're here for us. I know you're here for us, you know what I'm saying? So, we building our fence, and you're going to see it in real time. You know what I'm saying? We tapping into our well, you're going to see it in real time. So we want to encourage, all my Nagas popping off, choose up villages, you know what I'm saying? Joy worlds, just beautiful plots of land, 1 acre, 2 acre, 12 acre, 20 acre, whatever you got that you know that you're going to make resourceful, you know what I'm saying, for the tribe, for the Nagas that need it, you know what I'm saying? And this is our vision. We don't know who's going to need it, but we know that it's going to go to Nagas in need, you know what I'm saying? And that's good enough for all of us. So, help us build our shelters, help us put our fence up. And then, even your comments, man, just keep us going so much. So, Halal HaWah for your contributions, for your comments, and just all the good, energy that you send our way, you know what I mean? Because you got the opposite. You got those that don't like to see us pop off or, connect anything or feel like whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a whole balance, you know what I'm saying, that we choose to focus on you, you know what I'm saying, not all the, insecurity, you know what I'm saying, from whatever the case is, you know what I mean? We choose to focus on those that see the path, see the simple path we're taking, see the code that we're keeping, know that it ain't no play, and, are just willing to ride with us, you know what I'm saying, rock with us, you know what I'm saying, you know, give us the AHOB, you know what I'm saying, when we're doing great, give us the AHOB when we need, that help, you know what I'm saying, give us the AI when we need the reminder, you know what I'm saying, so we get the AI regardless from you because you're consistent con. So sometimes we need reminding of how to, you know what I'm saying, be sharper, and you give us that, or you consistently give us everything we need. So I appreciate all my Nagas in Nagaville, that keep it firing, man. And all right, let's get to these comments. Let's wrap up with a couple of these things, man. And these comments are always dope coming in from you. This one here is real dope, man. And I gotta say, I've been doing a lot of Estebanico drop, and you never know how anyone's gonna react to this and that. We've been doing it for so long that we don't do it for the response. We do it for the truth. We do it for the drop. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep coming with the drop, regardless of who take it which way. I don't choose to focus on none of the negativity and none of the BS. Sometimes I address it. And when I do, I go in because, you know what I'm saying, that's actually my, you know what I'm saying, That's my strong point. Is going in. I just don't do it very often. You know what I'm saying? So when I do it, I I choose the path and I go all I go all in, man. But I'm just saying, man, stuff like this really, brightens my day. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's listening and all that stuff. I know that when it comes to our ether packs and Prester packs, we get orders from everybody, and you know what I'm saying. Some might be these folks that we may or may not agree with, but they want to get more information, and we support that. You know what I'm saying? So we've gotten a lot of positive responses from those of the Moorish community, the Moabite community, because they know that we're not just being disrespectful in the way that we're presenting the flow. You know what I'm saying? They know that it's a family affair. They know that we have an opportunity to investigate ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And that, we're going to ask, you know, uh, respectful questions about our story. And we're not over here just banging on, oh, Moab, da 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 da, such and such this, but we damn sure gonna let you know that we're gonna free Phineas and everybody better get in line. Cause once the dragons start popping off, it ain't no double talk. You know what I'm saying? So there's one true creator. You know what it is. You know whose lands these are. You know this more and more war is some bullshit, right? You know this pieces of treaties of pieces of friendship, this backdooring that been going down for all this time is straight up, it's despicable, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, we still deal with our own despicability, and our own faultiness and all that stuff. So we come with a real honest investigation. And this Moabite here has something to say. They hit me with the Islam, but okay, good brother. And it's crazy, man, because if I put something out on IG or whatever the case is, a lot of times you get a bunch of Moorish flags popping up. I don't know why they feel the need to flag all the time on my shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you wonder why you can't comment no more, it's because if I see a flag, you out of here, man. If you come over here flag, because I ain't gonna come over here and just bang on your shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you come over here flagging, when all we doing is big up in the Most High Creator, Most High Power. You know what I mean? Don't come over here with your flag. This is not what we promote. You know what I mean? We're promoting the promised land, Kalelus, the kingdom of the priest king. And this is what, this comment is really centered around. It's the perspective. And we're going to get some good perspective as well from the fam Mind Unveiled as well, talking about the Tartary situation. And I'm going to address the Tartary a little later, but I'm just saying, come on. We know we're in Grand Tartary, right? But that's just what they're calling it. That's still a hijack. We know what Tartar means. We know, we'll get into it, man. But this is India Superior. And in India Superior, you have a Khan. You have a Grand Khan and a Grand Khan, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You have all this popping off. You can't lump this under some fanciful white heaven of Tartary, where now you're blended in the Atlantis flow with black people and doo-doo-doo, and now black people can't claim the Americas because whites have always been here since Tartary and old times and all this other shit. Look, man, we know that since the beginning of time, we've had the creators' creations, and we have the creations, and many races have been, or so-called races have been literally engineered by other people. You know what I'm saying? Genetic, mutations, yeah, that as well. But so we know that we always have these amalgamations popping off, X and Z, but don't make that as if that's your birthright situation to claim America as Tartaria, and now white people can get a pass because they always been here in Tartary. Man, if you were here, it's only because the Prester allowed you to be here, or you were conquering. Which one was it? Were you conquering, or did the Prester allow you to be here? Just because you're here doesn't mean you were ruling here, right? You're not saying that. I didn't hear that. We gonna get it, but I'm not gonna go in all right now. I'm just saying, just because you were here doesn't mean that you were ruling here. You could say, my genealogy connects me here. My this connect me here based on Tartaria. We have pictures of us here. I don't know. I don't know what they're coming with, but Prester John, in the British Museum and 1530. Right. India Superior, Mexico Cathay, India Superior. It's not no black supremacy to say that these are melanated cons already here. But, certain folks like that narrative of my first time really hearing it, black supremacy, where these Nagas are finally being able to be proud to know that they have a rich history pre-slavery, and they get proud and they start banging on white people, right? They start banging on them because they're like, man, y'all been lying to us. We here, what I'm saying? We ruled the Americas. Why? Because our priest king is right here ruling. You don't see no other names of no other priest kings around here. It's one Khan. This is King David. The Prester, everybody know he's melanated. All learned Europeans even know he's a melanated Khan. So you guessing that you're in this Tartarian doesn't mean that you were in a rulership position. And that's when the more connection connects, you know what I'm saying? Which, this Mind and Veil likes to mention the Moor situation, not differentiating the tribes, because Moor is another general title that encompasses many tribes. So you don't want to get into which tribe actually had this particular claim or this lot that was divided. You act like America can't be divided into specific tribes. You act like America can't belong to a melanated people group. You know what I'm saying? It has to be amalgamated with so-called whites and this and that and mix this and mix that. You can't give these people, they won't give us our land for shit. We can't go back to Africa because we ain't from that Africa, right? Unless we talking Northwest and Maxim, right? Huh? My Moors know what I'm saying. But we know we already here in the Superior Indian, India Superior, according to the British Museum in 1530. The British Museum, this ain't no play. The British Museum, Marco Polo's Asia, right? Yeah. Then this ain't just a Tartarian situation. This is a kingdom with a king, with a priest, king with a prester, with a prester, with a prester, who's melanated, whose people are melanated. So you proving that you could have been here doesn't mean that you had any pass here, unless you got a pass. Okay, were you serving such and such? Were you what? You definitely weren't ruling nothing. That's not black supremacy. That's truth. Since when did truth become black supremacy? Now you got to put a new title on truth because it makes you feel like you ain't got no home. They just are so, they have such an inferiority complex. They're afraid to be called or looked at as a parasite that's going from land to land colonizing. They want to shake off the colonizer title. So then they want to give us a little truth, say, yeah, the slave trade never really happened. Black people were already over here, but we were here too in the great empire of Tartary. So you give us that the slave trade, as we know it didn't happen. You're not telling us that they found the superior Nagas in superior India and then took them all over the world, showing them off to everybody because they finally cracked through the partition, and that these Nagas have a kingdom of their own, that even if you were allowed to have a little lot somewhere, does not grant you permission to claim this all as a Tartaria and you're a Tartarian and you have a birthright here. These so-called blacks have a land of their own. The tribes in Africa are another tribe of black people, so-called. They have a land of their own, right, until they were colonized. But in order to shake free of the colonizer title, you want to just say, oh, well, hey, that never happened, and hey, we're all one people. Beware of anybody trying to make America a melting pot. If they're trying to make a melting pot to America through genealogy, beware, man. If they're trying to make America a melting pot through Tartaria, beware, because that's their end. That's their end. They got an old kingdom that they can claim whites were there. Which ones? WIGHT. And any other, tribes, that carried that phenotype, they definitely were not ruling in America. I mean, we got the books, Forbidden History. We got the book, MHOE. We got the look, 5eyesMah, drinking HaWah, so we can all say Halal HaWah. KTC, you know how we do. Put our power first, we never lose, man. So this ain't black supremacy, this is truth. Indian superior was an Indian, an Indio's child of HaWah look like? What does a Prester look like? That's not supremacy, that's truth, man. Just because it's true don't mean, just because you don't want us to be supreme doesn't mean you have to put a supremacy title on us. But you know what? They might call Prester John a supremacist. He's a supremacist. They might call King David a supremacist. They might call the Khan or the Khan, the Rex and the Goose a supremacist. So I guess, it's no avoiding it. This is our land. Now, you don't want us to kick you off of it, huh? But there will be dragons flying. Remember, the world will be destroyed by fire, right? So don't come over here playing with us. You playing with our dragons. You playing with our dragons, son. And ain't nobody want to play with that. So I appreciate a comment like this. Halal HaWah, we getting there, bro. We getting there, Atlas. You already see it, man. You already see it, man. Atlantis, man, with permission of the Pharaoh, man. But I'm gonna stay focused on the love, man. But you gotta put the high in there, man. That's the breath. You can't have the wah without the breath. You can't breathe wah without the wah, right? You gotta put the high, right? So love your work, family. As a Moabite, let's get it from here. As a Moabite, I apologize for our indiscretions. Wow. I saw that. First, I was almost about to, start slicing and dicing, getting, what I mean? Because, came with the Islam joint, but, I guess they can't help it. But it's all good, man, because, hey, look, put our power first, we never lose. You know what I'm saying? Halal HaWah. As a Moabite, I apologize for our indiscretions. And we will do better towards the world with truth, with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Hey, that sounds great, Moabite. Moabite, that sounds real good, man. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You gonna do all that, Moabite? Hey, man, it's all good, Make sure you give them that real ahab. Make sure you actually give them the truth, not a half truth. When it comes to peace, hey, which one, man? Whose peace? Make sure it's the peace of the children of the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Not your peace, man. Because your peace, Moabite, ain't been our peace, Moabite. So we don't know which peace you're saying. It's not our fault. We're a little paranoid when you say peace, treaties of peace. You know what I'm saying? Freedom. Who's freedom, man? Justice. Who's justice, man? I don't know. You might be talking double talk, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. My Moabite naga that you came in good heart bone, man. I'm really sharing this with a good heart bone is to say I appreciate you for digging on it and knowing that we got to do, what I'm saying, the right thing, and it starts with truth, right? He says, I don't deny anything you stated. I have no choice but to listen at this time. This is a safety account, but I commend your work. So what's a safety account? I don't know. Is that like an undercover account, so no one knows who you are in your circle? Okay. But I commend your work, and in fairness to our lost families, I will promote this page for self-awareness purposes. Thank you. Hey, we are lost, man. You know what I mean? Not just us, but I know that a lot of the Moabites have been, misled as well. You know what I'm saying? Mistaught as well, taught different, half-truths as well. And we're all coming to this investigation together. So just like the mixed multitude, the Abyssinians under the Prester, you know what I'm saying, before, you know what I mean? This is how we flowing. You know what I'm saying? You choosing up, that's good for us, you know what I'm saying? And that's good for you. For real. My naga, because you already know it's all happening, and we don't want nothing unnecessarily, you know what I'm saying? We want nothing but good, man, for everybody that looks like us or don't look like us, you know what I'm saying? But we are waking up to the truth, that we are in a frequency war. And, the Creator does get that payback for the playback. there ain't nothing we can do to take away the payback. You know what I'm saying? But we do appreciate that you came in the AHA, you know what I'm saying? And we give the AHA back to you, man. AHA to Atlas Armstrong, even though that is your safety account. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's all AHA, man. Let's go, man. Z Boyd said Joseph in the Bible with the coat of many colors, aka Amhotep. All right. I mean, that's everyone's on an investigation, man. King Solomon had temples in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, okay. I shared those links on my social media. All right, well, you gotta drop the link to your social media, my naga. Let's go, man. All right, I'm just belly flopping through these, man. What if the Grand Canyon is where Moses parted the Red Sea? Ancient ways. I like that drop. He went way back to the 2016 sinking of Egypt, Atlantis thaw, slave vibration, hounds of the barrier. 2016, my balcony surface, we were popping off, man. Yeah, what if the Grand Canyon is where Moses parted the Red Sea? Okay. Winston Frank, always on point. Hey, ha. Fly, baby. Hey, ha. I can't stop watching this the end of days. Not days. There is no end of days. Forever, remember? End of days. Like, you waking up out this days out this Ruach Tardy Ma. Love to the bro Blazer. He dropped this drop on this moon. Another bro dropped it as well. I'm sorry, I can't think of your name right now, but you know who you are, man. And we're going to get some of this moon drop. Matter of fact, let's check a little bit of it out right now. It says Lucas E channel highlight. Okay. Original Moonbirds, Moon Insanity, a meteor shower on the moon. So let's, look at the zoom in and let me know, is the moon a plasma, man?
Another thing is, every once in a while, the moon just seems to spurt out a bit of light out of one of its sides. And it doesn't seem to be caused, right there it was. It didn't seem to be caused by any meteor passing by. Oh my God, we got a flurry of them coming out now. That doubler, one of them,
y'all see it?
Seemed to be caused by any meteor passing by. Oh my God, we got a flurry of them coming out now. There did not come out.
Pay attention to like the top, and I think around this bottom section too. But you see these little objects coming in and out, like, what's up with this moon business? Can you land on this thing, or is it a plasma?
The other side, I don't know if you noticed that. Another thing is, every once in a while, the moon just seems to spurt out a bit of light out of one of its sides. And it doesn't seem to be caused, right there it was. It didn't seem to be caused by any meteor passing by. Oh my God, we got a flurry of them coming out now. That doubler, one of those didn't come out the other side. This is dope. I could watch this kind of stuff all night. Love meteor showers, love me some moon, and I love the strangeness. I hope you guys are digging this as much as I am right now. Now, don't forget the name. It's Lucas E. Lucas Earl. You'll find his channel and a link to his channel in the video description below, as well as a pinned comment at the top of the comment section. Look at this strangeness. Now watch it come out the other side. Bam! No dark side, baby. No dark side. And I have gone through personally.
The moon is a plasma. You can't land on it. It's a plasma, man. Hold up, man. Yeah, I didn't know, man. I didn't know it was that good. Where's that moon is a plasma drop, man? Moon plasma Foster. Let's go. I mean, y'all seen this, man. Y'all already seen it, man. But I'm gonna get a minute of it just for reference point, because it might be somebody's first time surfing the wave. Hijack City, man. But yeah, okay. Just think about it, my Nagas. What if the moon's a plasma? What if it's not a rock? Maybe that's why they can't try to fake it again. There's too many eyes, too many telescopes in the air. Is the moon a plasma? Let's get this little piece right here.
Scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature than what was assumed. And the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it. Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, on other planets, yes, but the moon is definitely, as I assert, the plasma. Isn't there a slight contradiction? You mentioned the moon and the tides, Mr. Foster, and at the earlier part of the interview, you talked about the tides sweeping over the Earth. Well, there is no contradiction there, because once the moon is proven not to be a piece of rock, but something of far less mass, and the gravitational theories are out and discarded, new concepts have to be involved, which will show that the lawfulness of nature in the cosmos is identical to that in a hydrogen atom or in atomic processes. And when this is understood and worked out in full, it will be found that the physical processes of the Earth are quite different in geophysics of what it is present assumed, and that lawfully in certain periods, mostly during the ice ages, which occur every 200 million years, and there is a reason for that, the axis of the Earth suddenly tilts over. And when this happens, then you get the floods of the Bible, which were recorded before. The tides, the ordinary, everyday.
Now, when they talk about flipping over the spear, they're gonna give you a little lie with a little truth. They're gonna put the hijack in, but think of it, as the magnetic flow. You know what I'm saying? The magnetism, switching and flipping around. Like, it's not so much the Earth flipping upside down; it's the magnetic points, switching up. You know what I mean? Hitting up a different area, causing that, vibrational, difference or unsettling or whatever you want to call it. But they teach it to us like the Earth must tilt all the way over, flip over. The poles must reverse that way. But you could be talking about an electromagnetic, pole shift, but it's just the magnetism shifted. You know what I mean? It's the it's like a magnet. You know what I'm saying? That switches polarities. You know what I mean? But it's not so much a change in the actual physical, structure of the surface, but of some type of change in the frequency. That's a great thing to study out. What's really causing these polar flips, polar changes, man.
Everyday tides have an explanation, even if the moon had almost no mass at all, because they are field effects. They're induced by cosmic pressures which exist in the field of our solar system. What's the benefit to mankind in your theories? Well, the first one, and the most important I would briefly put down is this. I think it is a new conception about the nature of the cosmic world and about the nature and the veracity of consciousness, conscience, of morality. At present, we have a glaring contradiction in the assertions of fundamental science. Scientists assert that they are completely uninhibited in their pursuit of truth, that they're completely uninhibited in their pronouncements, and that they produce for mankind, out of their knowledge or understanding, means which man can use according to his moral nature. So if the scientist produces a television set or a jet motor car, or a hydrogen bomb, it is up to the common man then to use it in a manner which he finds according to his human nature. Yet, the very same processes of dialectics of science also declare that morality, concept of man's moral nature, is an illusion, that it is merely behaviorism or something due to conditioned reflexes or to herd instinct. And this, of course, is a contradiction which must be resolved and must go out. And it will be found as a consequence, what I had the privilege to see and to experience in my mind, that there is a moral law in the universe in which we partake and which is binding on us and which is decisive on our future. Now, in the practical aspects, when it is understood that the geophysical laws are quite different and that this tipping over of the Earth axis has occurred often, suddenly in the past, and will occur again, if the new view is elaborated, and I will not live long enough anymore to do that, it will be understood that the speed of light is not a universal constant, as it is now the foundation of science, that is changeable, and that perhaps 50 years before the next change of axis, there will be an increase in the speed of light. And if scientists will work out why and how, then there will be sufficient warning that mankind can prepare itself. Instead of building atom bomb shelters and hydrogen bombs by the millions, we will build provisions of making humanity floatable and to survive. this crisis. So it comes again to the age-old concept that truth is the guidance, the hope, and the directive of the human mind, and that man must strive to understand and to know the real nature of the world.
Kicking that hot sauce, man.
Well, I do not claim at all that it is due to my own intellect or to my own penetration. I have been deeply interested from early youth in the real nature of the world, and I held my own views and ideas. But many years ago, about 14 years ago, when I was challenging one of the fundamental conventional principles of science, I had a definite inspiration, not knowledge as such, but an indication and a guidance which I followed and which I worked very hard to evolve into a new structure of understanding.
Inspirations are related to thoughts of genius. Do you think or consider yourself to be a genius?
No. I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for from the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and that we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Listen up.
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomenon, a cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. Soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is far less than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and the new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
You got to evolve something else, because all gravitational theories are out the door. Love the Lucas E channel. Let's go, man. I mean,
check every single solitary meteor that has come out the other.
What do y'all see, man?
Bam! No dark side, baby. No dark side. And I have gone through personally in sides, and it doesn't seem to be caused. Right there, it was. It didn't seem to be caused by any meteor passing by. Oh my God, we got a flurry of them coming out now. That doubler, one of those didn't come out the other side. This is dope. I could watch this kind of stuff all night. Love meteor showers, love me some moon, and I love the strangeness. I hope you guys are digging this as much as I am right now. Now, don't forget the name. It's Lucas E. Lucas Earl. You'll find his channel and a link to his channel in the video description below, as well as a pinned comment at the top of the comment section. Look at this strangeness. Now watch it come out the other side. Bam! No dark side, baby.
Bam.
No dark side. And I have gone through personally and checked every single solitary meteor that has come out the other side. None of them have shown any bit of dark side. There is no dark side on this moon. What you see is what you get. This is my thought, theory, and idea, and this is what I am accepting as truth. When we see the moon, and supposedly, the dark side is just too dark to see, I have very low light cameras. I have very big telescopes. There is no reason why I cannot boost all of the light, the ISO, and everything else, and take down all of my f-stops in order to increase the light. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to see the dark side, even on the darkest of nights. I can see.
Man, that's for real, for real. Come on, man. All this technology, we still can't see the dark side of the moon. They popping off satellites. The tightest of the Jupiter's moons get satellites, but we still can't see the back of the moon, or we can't get a live feed of the Earth spinning. We should be able to see that. Hey, man, turn on the live feed of the Earth spin, man. It's on cable. It's just as the world spins, man, we should see the Earth just going on a 1,000 miles per hour. My nugget is 1,000 miles. It should be spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Oh, but it looks like it's not turning because it's so big, man. 1,000 miles per hour is 1,000 miles per hour, especially if you got a satellite view. You know what I'm saying? That's a great perspective. You know, we should see some type of spinning, right? But they don't show us the real Earth ever, or the dark side of the moon, right? Because the moon is a plasma. Yeah, man.
Of nature is necessary, because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. Soft landing attempts will all fail.
Yeah.
That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less than is currently.
Yeah, it's not some big old thing. It's only about 30 miles across, according to the book of Enoch, man. And I mean, a lot of stuff's been going down when it comes to the moons, when it comes to this. They love to Mr. MBB 333. You know, we like to check in, and he noticed like some type of crazy anomaly, whereas normally, you know, the patterns in the northern hemisphere are relatively, you know, smooth in the weather systems. You know what I mean? He's just showing that there's been some real confusion lately. He's calling it an invisible force. We call it Drakan. Coon.
Spans over 1,000 miles. Incredible. A lot of amazing weather phenomena going on right now. And I want to go back to nullschool.net. Take a look at the upper level winds of planet Earth. I want to show you guys something that I found that qualifies as an Earth change, at least to me. I've never seen anything quite like this. I've been following Null School and the weather patterns and wind patterns over here for many.
And we've been digging on Null School, but they took off the AE projection. You know, they have all the other projections still. They took off the flat Earth projection that we could see, you know, some real clockwise, counterclockwise flowing of the water. It wasn't just some confused ball with a bunch of squiggly lines. Like you could see, okay, the outer ring, the water's going clockwise. In that ring, counterclockwise. It's clockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. You know what I mean? It goes back and forth. And they took that projection off of Null School, just so you know. But we've been in it a long time, and we've been seeing a lot of links taken down, a lot of changes. But check out these, you know, invisible force, man. You know, Halal HaWah.
Many years. I'm not saying that this is anything nefarious. I just don't know how to interpret what we're looking at here. The bottom part of the globe, obviously the southern hemisphere, we have a large clockwise rotation above the South Pole. In the northern hemisphere, there's not much going on with regard to a bona fide center of rotation, very high speed center of rotation like we see down south. And those winds are pushing anywhere from 160 to 180 miles per hour in the upper levels of the atmosphere. If you look up here in the northern hemisphere, see how it's real choppy above the equator? Look at that. Look how choppy that is. And this again is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. See the waves in the upper levels of the northern hemisphere? This is in the sky. But those are very choppy winds. If we go back in time, and let's say, I don't know, let's go back to 2019. You'll see a difference. You'll see what I'm talking about. See how smooth it is? You don't see those very choppy winds encompassing the entire northern hemisphere. Let's go to 2018 and take a look. Relatively smooth compared to what we're seeing now in 2021.
And this is what I mean. See where it says projection? You see A, C, E, E, O. All these are different. They got like a projection that look like a pear. You know, it shows everything but the actual flat Earth map that, you know, it used to show, and it was labeled AE, and they took off the AE projection. So all these other projections is cool, but they took off the flat Earth projection, the AE one. It showed too much drop, man, because you could even see the counterclockwise, clockwise flow. But imagine seeing it from that bird's eye, you know, aquadescent as a muzzle view. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, they over here hijacking us, man. But again, pay attention, because you see how smooth it is up here all these years, you know what I mean? And then suddenly it's all choppy and crazy across the entire northern hemisphere.
Let's go back to 2017 to show you another example. Very smooth compared to what we're seeing right now. You don't see that very choppy appearance like we're seeing today. Go back another year, 2016, 5 years ago, same thing. very smooth all the way around in the upper levels of Earth's atmosphere. These would be the upper level winds. But for some reason, if we look at now, see the big difference? See how choppy they are? All the way around the northern hemisphere. Not exactly sure what that's implying. It's almost like the northern hemisphere of the Earth is sensing something, and maybe this is a side effect of something else that's going on in space, and it's being picked up now by the northern hemisphere of the Earth. Those are very unusual. I've never seen patterns like that in the northern hemisphere, especially encompassing the...
It's like we getting hit with some frequency, huh? What y'all think this is, man? Hey, shout out Mr. MBB, a 333. And you know, just for the real Ahab, for the real Ahab, I wanted to, I was falling back live in the ether. Hey, out to everybody who be on the live app 432, the Drop Radio app, and some Thai battle poetry came on, man, and I said, wow, that's some beautiful poetry. I said, man, it's been a minute since we read a live poem, and I wanted to make sure we, shared the Ahab. The sister has written over, I mean, I don't know how many hundreds, but it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of poems for Drop Nation. And, she deserves the honor as much as we can give it, man. So, Ahab, Aqua, Thai, Bat Zan. I want to, I'm gonna get some flutes playing and get this piece right here. And you can get it at 432thedrop.com. Series of theories, man. Hold on, let me get my flutes. Let's get fluty. Let's get fluty. Because Aqua Thai Battle, has always enjoyed a beautiful ensemble of flutes and harps and anything that sounds great, man. This is a beautiful one right here. Let's dig on it, man. Halal HaWah. HaWah. Love to 432 frequency meditation. Series of theories. Water stays on a rotating sphere because of the crazy glue called gravity. Things come down because of density. Let us keep the reason hijack free. Everything in existence is systematically here due to a chaotic Big Bang. The created Earth is stationary and does not have to spin, dart, or hang. Monkeys morphed into humans and spread to the vast world out of Africa. The copper-colored races are aboriginals of the newly discovered America. Earth is tilted 33 degrees when Pangea had its Babylonian breakup. Floodwaters rising and receding just may be the answer for the map shakeup. Centrifugal force is not a factor as masses move freely in any direction. Lands are tree-rooted, fixed and movable, and equipped with collision protection. Icy rocks burned in a vacuum atmosphere when the big freeze happened. Meteors and comets are transient entities that the ancients called dragons. Perception makes the sun and moon appear the same exact shape and size. The horizon is level from anywhere it meets your perfectly logical open eyes. Do as thou wilt. Your free will allows you to remain lawless and live carefree. Nah, man. Follow the laws of HaWah and Torah and exist righteously from now till eternity. Series of theories. Aqua Thai Battle, man. Go ahead and get the snappy snaps, man. Snap it, snap, man. Hey, Hop Thai Battle Poetry. Again, you can get all this poetry, and I'm way behind on adding so much more. Beautiful drive from the Aqua, man. I mean, the Aqua's been popping off. This is just a quick list of 40 classic poems by my Aqua, Bat Zan. Hey, love to you, my Aqua. Keep signing up. True Ahab, true gratitude from the tribe. All praise our Creator for you. And let's pop off with this double dismount with the mind unveiled. And maybe we'll check in on Bam Bam on the way up out of here, man. You know how we do, popping off, man. Let's pick it up from here and see what this Tartaria is explaining. And I appreciate you, mind unveiled. We got our own ideas, we got our own thoughts. So, don't take nothing the wrong way, you know what I mean? But, we're gonna lay it down like only the real Naga can. And that ain't black supremacy. It's real Naga 360 Dragonfly perspective. A Lego.
There were also these underground passages and railroads that these slaves took in order to leave their jobs. We have to understand that our modern perception of the word slave has become distorted, and that most of these individuals were actually a part of a work contract that they no longer wish to be a part of. So they would try to escape along these ancient underground tunnel passage systems that, at the time, were being used as a railroad transportation system for goods. It also doesn't have to do with just black peoples. In a moment, we will cover all the different civilizations that were in America during these times.
And like I said, I'm gonna do some commenting. He's gonna give you a lot of drop. I mean, there's a lot of drop, in terms of what he's saying and how he's gonna break down slavery and, just sort of the myth of certain aspects of it. But you can already hear in in the intention, you know what I mean, in the inflection of the vowels he's using, or the consonants, black this and da 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 da. It's like he's kind of fed up of a lot of the drop he's been putting out, showing that there's been Nagas rocking here the whole time and the empires, and they, certain Nagas, been popping off at him, you know what I'm saying, or at so-called whites, like, yeah, and, fuck y'all, that type of, go back to white land, man. This is already ours, and that type of thing. Nah, but it sounds like he's a little fed up, and he's tired of black people flexing on him, with all of our supremacy pride. But you can't claim that somebody is a supremacist, when they have been afflicted all this time, and that's not victimized. We don't have to prove the transatlantic slave trade to prove that we are victims of an invasion. Now, you can't say that you're the same victim of the same invasion because you were not fighting side by side with these Nagas as they were getting annihilated, or else that would be your history. Instead, as we pop off our history, you want to, make this a melting pot and synchronize your view of Tartaria into our Naga history. And it is Naga history, whether you're talking the Mongols, those are Nagas, those are Negroes, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're talking these Asians and Asiatics, those are Negroes. These ancient Japanese and Chinese, Negroes. These ancient Indians and India Superior, Negroes. And that is not Negro supremacy, but Negroes are supreme in the supreme India. So again, when we talk Tartaria, we're talking the supreme India, India Superior. We're not saying it. The British Museum is letting you know that there's a Prester already here, a Prester John. There's a melanated Negro that the Crusades are getting popped off looking for in the Promised Land. And who's holding it down? Prester John, the entire Four Corners and beyond. King of the Three Indias, Rex Negus. And this is why our family, the Moabite, had to check in and say, look, I can't argue with nothing that you're saying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that, we need a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? But it's a refreshing flow, you know what I'm saying, that, perhaps this is a trend, that we are, all praise HaWah, sharing the pure water, you know what I'm saying? And if you're in it for the truth, even as a Moabite, as much as we digging on, on the more and more war, you can still come over here and say, I don't deny anything you've stated. I have no choice but to listen at this time. I'm gonna have to ask the same thing. If our Moabite family can do that, then surely mine unveiled, you can do that too. If you want to dig on black history, don't do it with a chip on your shoulder. oh, I taught you black people a little bit. Now you're using it against me. It's pretty much as you're saying, but that's just the insecurity in you. Because us being proud and us popping off in India superior, maybe you feel like we are being supreme, but we are the superior Naga in the superior India, which has nothing to do with you, so-called whatever you want to call yourselves. It has everything to do with the Naga kingdom, the American empire, which is not Tartaria. You're just calling it Tartaria to create a new version of a melting pot for y'all people to amalgamate into. And again, it's the same way that people use genealogies. They'll look like whatever, and then they'll say, yeah, well, my genealogy, it makes me a little bit of native Chickashokocha. Based on my genealogy, I have a right to be here. No, you do not have a right to the empire of the Americas. You do not have a right to the kingdom of Prester John. You do not have a right to Jerusalem. America is Jerusalem. Jerusalem. America is Judea. You don't have a right to Judea because you want to relabel it Tartaria. Now we can't focus on what these Judeans look like, what these Presters, what these priest kings, what the American actually look like, because you want to sprinkle yourselves in as a Tartarian empire and say, oh, you blacks, y'all don't know shit, but I'm gonna teach you a little bit, but don't use it against me. Like, that's just like a hijack. You don't want to focus on the parasitic behavior of your people because you're gonna admit, oh well, they just keep calling us parasites. You know, we're not doing that for fun. We're doing it because you keep spreading out and bringing disease. But you don't want to talk about the biological chemical warfare, the Black Plague that your people was bottling up, spreading it around here all in the 1800s, getting all the Nagas sick in the 1600s, 1700s. We know our own people had a lot to do with this too. That's why the Moabite family is saying what? Hey, as a Moabite, I apologize for our indiscretions. We're having a family conversation here. Don't butt yourself into this by calling it whatever you want to call it, whether you call it India Superior or Grand Tartary, right? Because, hey, does North America exist, man? Come on, mind. If you're going to be mind, man, you can't have too many mind, man. You're going to have to go off the flow. But that comes from within you. The investigation we on comes from within us, knowing that America is Asia, but you call it Tartaria. We're just saying it's Asia, man. All right? This Asia is America. Asia is America. Whether you're talking about this Orientis map of 1531, is just like this map of 1530 in the British Museum, connecting what? India Superior, Cathay, Mexico, Florida, Cuba, Prester John, right? Same exact thing here, except instead of India Superior, it just says Asia with Florida here in 1531. David Rumsey, on and on we go. And here we have this Cartina Marina map in 1561. South America connected to Asia, except, oh, here we go. Mind unveiled. Grand Tartary, right? So this is where you're getting Tartaria. But we stay out the mind of a hijack because what's a Tartar in 1828? A native of Tartary? Tatar? Hell. So we don't consider our place grand hell. Only the hijacks looking at this as hell. You know what I'm saying? Calling us Tartars, putting us in hell. This is your language. This is going back to your Latin, Tartarus. We're talking hell. So when they say Tartaria, that's another way of putting the Naga in hell, but then claiming to have a piece of it because they're whites, Wight, which is a demon in hell. Don't project your Tartaria on us. Don't project your hell on us, man. This Grand Tartary, We know we're in India Superior. This is America, man. This is America and India Superior, man. China, man. India Superior. Cathay. Florida. Cathay. Florida. Cateo. India Superior. Whether you're talking to Planisfiero, Rosselli, 1508. What? South America. Florida. Tartaria. Look at that. But we're just talking India Superior. Florida. All right, so this whole situation connects directly with this 1530 situation. So whether they're saying Tartaria or Grand Tartary or India Superior, you're still talking about the Superior Naga and the Superior Kingdom of Prester John. And everybody know what Prester John already looked like. Because we asked if North America exists, and you can ask yourself a very simple question to correlate with our investigation. But it's already been going on. And look out for Prester John installment number 70. We've done 70 installments of the Prester John investigation. It's not black supremacy, mind and veil. You know, don't take it the wrong way, because we're talking about a supreme and superior Indian, right? Indios, indigenous, original copper con. The El Prester One is what's on your map in India Superior. So this is the king, this is the Khan, this is what's ruling this Grand Tartaria. This is what the Mongol is looking like. Genghis Khan looked just like this too. That's not black supremacy. That's Naga truth. The Emperor de los Abyssinios. And they're looking for the fountain of youth, right? Did a black man discover the fountain of youth? Or what? A black man? Is that a supremacist man? Or does everybody know what the Prester looks like? Everybody knows the definition of an American is the copper color Naga found here. And if you know the definition of an American is the copper color Khan found here, and the definition of a Tartar is hell, then whoever's putting the Tartar title on us wants us, the Naga, the superior Naga, to be in hell. When the definition of this hell that you want us to be in, the people here, are the copper color races that were found here. That's not black supremacy. That's real copper color truth. We're not saying other people can't be found here too. We're saying who was ruling here. Who's the Prester? Just because you're here, so what? What's your point? Oh, we were here too. Does that mean you have any inheritance? Any rulership at all? Or were you here as a servant? Or were you here because Prester John allowed you to serve somewhere in the kingdom? British Museum, 1530, Prester John. If you were here, if your genealogy has you here, who allowed you to rock? Because you went into a kingdom, man, with a priest king, Prester Wan, Wong Kong, the Mongol flow, the Kar Katai. Yeah, the Carolinas. The copper color races found here is the American definition. It's not black supremacy. So I just had to lay that out because that's what he's going to go with. But let's go, man, for the dismount.
But all races here had these slave contracts, which were not slaves.
And we know that there were white slaves, right? Let's go.
But work contracts. They weren't slave owners, but employers, regardless of their skin color. You see, the jobs that we have now in the modern day are called at-will employment, meaning at any time we can just quit and say, you know, I'm not really feeling this anymore and I'm just going to move on with my life. But back then, it wasn't really like that.
Come on, man, it wasn't really like that. You weren't there. You didn't go through this. You're speaking on another Naga history. And whether or not they had white slaves or their slaves or not, they were not just under some, contract, we're going to do this and do that. These are prisoners of war found where? In India Superior. See, once he got invaded, mind and veil, by Genghis Khan, once he got invaded by his, foster son or his nephew, Genghis Khan, that more and more war never stopped. And some people took advantage of that later on, the fighting, back and forth more and more. But once he got invaded, what happened to the people of Prester John? Now they think they're blacks from Africa, right? So you're spitting some truth that no, we didn't just get off a boat from Africa. You're telling people that they already are part of a Tartarian kingdom here. And then you write yourself in and say, but me too. It's a melting pot, right? Everyone says it's a melting pot. All hijacks want it to be a melting pot because then they get a piece of your land. Beware of anyone trying to make America a melting pot for any reason, instead of giving the Naga a land of our own, a land of the priest king, the Prester. The Prester deserves his own land, I think. The people of King David deserve their own land, I think. If Africans can clearly have Africa, even though they've been invaded too, all the Nagas across the plain at this point. Yeah, it's a parasite. You see what's popping. Open your eyes, man. We're talking about the Nagas across the plain at this point. How far has this parasite gotten? That's not black supremacy. That's the damn truth. Who else is rolling around doing this shit to everybody? All in Afghanistan, Iraq, do, going everywhere, colonizing, stealing shit. You want to take the responsibility away from your people for all the shit they stolen and all the people they killed by trying to downplay slavery as a whole, instead of acknowledging that these Nagas, these sons and daughters of the Prester, were brought to a status of prisoners of war. Prisoners of war is different than slaves. It's different than some contract workers you're trying to kick. This is about being prisoners of war, and these Indians never stopped fighting back.
Contracts were much more binding and for longer periods of time. Once your contract expires, you would be freed or released from your contract and duties. Many neighborhoods today are in fact old world neighborhoods from another age and are older than they really tell us, including these so-called plantation mansions that were known for housing slaves, are not only owned by many black natives of the land, but had nothing to do with our modern conception of slavery. So the New World historians, what they did was rewrite this as slavery, and conveniently made it so all the employers were of one race, white, and all the employees were black, and they
Now this part I'm digging because we know those houses was already owned by us. Now let's go.
called them slaves. Now, this type of information might be shocking for many of those who choose to hold on to their victimhood, but this is the only way to be freed from the constrictions that have been laid upon us by the new.
Now he said that victimhood, towards us, that we just want to be a victim of slavery, ignoring the fact that we have been invaded, ignoring the Tecumseh War, the Chickamauga War, all the bloodshed, even after the More on More, right? 4th of July, Independence Day, all the bullshit. Ignore all that because we are caught up in our victimhood, man. That's like saying, someone gets raped and, because it didn't happen the way you thought it happened, they should stop talking about it because they're just trying to be a victim. Like, nah, man, this stuff really happened. You just need to understand it. You can't skip over it and say, nah, well, who cares that you've been, violated, because the story wasn't quite the same as what I thought. I don't care what kind of story you come up with, man. You're not going to take away from the bloodshed and the massacre and the disease and the pestilence. Yes, the parasitic, continuous behavior. This has been a disease and disgusting event since the very beginning. You're going to have to take some accountability and not say, well, I'm just Tartarian. I was here and we're all one. We're all in peace. I don't know why you guys want to be victims. I don't know why you guys want to be supreme, you black supremacists. Come on, man. Victim, y'all think I'm tripping, listen closely.
World historians, what they did was rewrite this as slavery, and conveniently made it so all the employers were of one race, white, and all the employees were black, and they called them slaves. Now, this type of information might be shocking for many of those who choose to hold on to their victimhood, but this is the only way to be freed from the constrictions that have been laid upon us by the new government that wish to keep us enslaved through identity crisis. Another good point for this is, where are the slave ships? They literally only have one slave ship called the Clotilda found in Alabama, and even that's up for debate. They purposely try to set up these situations so that when they find these artifacts, they tell the story that they want you to believe. Now, it's important to mention that since the Tartary phenomena has come out, and along with many of our other secret Black history videos and other channels promoting similar content, Black supremacists have taken this concept to claim that Blacks were the only ones in America. And
See, when you put a label on somebody, you already are belittling. You're belittling, you know what I'm saying, or belittling their whole entire point. You know what I'm saying? You're completely masking, their actual intention by calling them black supremacists. Do not belittle the Nagas. You know what I'm talking about, man. I don't speak English. You know what I mean? I like to speak, Naga talk, but I'm trying to speak English here. So don't belittle. Stop belittling the real ones, man. Oh, these black supremacists. Now we got to get a concept of a black supremacist. A Naga that knows he's a supreme Naga, supreme being on this earth. A Naga, with the copper color, copper flow that's able to crystallize with the sun, an original Khan, a spiraled up Khan. Yeah, we got to be accountable for the power that we possess. You got to be accountable for your bullshit. Calling us, calling anybody a black supremacist is completely, what do they say? A misnomer. It's absolutely asinine, man. How do you take a people who have been completely erased? They finally pop off with their history and celebrate it, and they started getting called names like, "Oh, you're just a black." Shut the man. All this white supremacist shit we got to go through, being hung on trees. Show me all the pictures of all the whites being hung on trees, man. Show me all the pictures of all the whites being, you know, eaten by dogs and mauled, and babies being bashed on the sides and thrown over cliffs. Like, show me that. Like, don't talk about us being victimized. Or say, oh, we can't let go of our victimized such and such because of the slave boats. The slave boats ain't got nothing to do with the invasion. We're letting you know we didn't come off boats, that they found us here, because it says in the definition, the copper colored races found here, found here, right? So we're over the boat theory. That doesn't mean that nothing happened. You take that and then you try to high skip like a hijack would over the accountability portion of the complete evil. Jump over the evil, jump over the pestilence, and get to, yeah, well, that never happened. And, this might be hard for you guys that want to be a victim, but we can't find no slave ships. So you guys will look, you were already here. I'll give you that truth, but so were we. And if you don't think so, you're a black supremacist. Hey, man, that's a real shitty argument, man. And you can't call people supremacist or racist, what I'm saying, that have been truly victimized. You can't, I can't start slapping you every day and then you're mad at me and then I say you're racist towards me. Well, you've been getting slapped in the head every day, ain't you? That's why you mad at me. That's why these people are mad. They be getting hung on trees. They've been getting, sliced and diced, chopped up. That didn't happen. The invasion didn't happen is what you want to say? Just because the slave boats, aren't being found doesn't mean that y'all didn't come and invade. And that yo people didn't come and invade. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to tie your way into some mystery Tartary when you're just talking India superior. And if you want to label this hell, well, hell, get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? Black supremacists. I mean, y'all hear the tinge in his voice, man? Black supremacists. Oh yeah, we in the supreme India.
I want you to believe. Now, it's important to mention that since the Tartary phenomena has come out, and along with many of our other secret Black history videos and other channels promoting similar content.
Oh, since I've been putting out all this, drop about black people, these black people have gone crazy.
Black supremacists have taken this concept to claim that blacks were the only ones in America and that they were responsible for all the architecture around the world.
Just look at the pitch. Oh, they're responsible for everything. They must be everything. Now they think they're everything. No, I just think we're the superior Indian in India superior. Blacks don't have to think that they're everything and everywhere. You know why? We just need to know whose land is this? Whose land is this? Is this some melting pot of Tartary, or does this belong to somebody by heritage? You think our creator is the author of confusion, or did Joshua cast, divide the land to the lots for the 12 tribes? You don't think this has anything to do with the lot that Joshua divided? Or you're not connected with the Most High Power to connect the order of the Creator? Knowing that this is the old world, like you're saying, then you know that you got the biblical, indigenous real ones that have already been here. And don't melting pot. And it's not a supremacist thing. Yeah, free white people were Moors. White is a political status. So they're quoting some Moors as, the supremacist. So this is who he's really talking about, because this is who's probably been on his ass, man. They probably really been on his ass, man, because he's bringing up stuff that he really doesn't have a full comprehension of. He's just trying to loop it into Tartary, and they've been on his ass. So now he wants to fight back by calling anyone who knows where they're at a black supremacist. That's ignorance at its finest. You're going to get some drop out of this, but you're also going to get supreme ignorance, supreme arrogance. And the hijack can only go so far. They give you something, but then they want something in return, your silence. They don't want you to pop off, or else you be called these names, you know what I'm saying? Now looped into some supremacy title when they've been the supremacy. I mean, look around. We can't drive down the street, but we're black supremacists. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And that whites...
We can't drive down the street without getting pulled out our cars and shit, but we're black supremacists. How the fuck does that make sense? Only through the mind of a hijack.
But a parasite or mutation who came out and caused genocide and stole their architecture around the world, and that whites are but a parasite or mutation who came out and caused genocide and stole their culture and the only ones in America, and that they were responsible for all the architecture around the world, and that whites are but a parasite or mutation who came out and caused genocide and stole their culture and advancements in technology and spirituality.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, Mind Unveiled. You think that's, because that's not what's being taught in public school. In public school, they say Christopher discovered America, and, the Pilgrims ate with the Indians, and yada, yada. It's all kind of nice little historic points, all the founding fathers and all this shit, right? You have to go way out the loop to get this drop that you are rocking with this parasitic flow. And we know it's not just people with so-called white skin, which they don't have. We know that it's been a more and more war, which is, again, back to this comment. We talk about our own brothers rolling up on us. As a Moabite, I apologize for my indiscretions, is what the King Atlas is saying over here. So look, man, we talk to our family, you know what I'm saying? We got to apologize, all around the board, to each other, to ourselves, to come into being one drop. But we have to see, clearly. This Moabite ain't saying, hey, you guys are, not racist, but, y'all discriminate against us because of yada, yada. But y'all should be about the unity. This person ain't saying be about the unity. This person is saying, man, I apologize for our indiscretions, man. I don't deny anything you've stated. I got no choice but to listen. Our own brother could come humble. But your ass says, well, I taught y'all a little bit. Now you guys are just, feeling like you're supreme and that we're just some parasites, man. Listen to this. It sounds like you just wrapped it up, but here's the issue, I think, right here with your mind unveiled. You don't want to be accountable. You don't want to believe that your nation of people have parasitic behavior or evil, absolutely despicable, disgusting behavior to mutilate a people, to, you know, try to erase and destroy a people, to destroy their children, to continue to destroy them on a daily. You don't want to claim any accountability with anything. You just want to act like we're just some sensitive, victimized people that don't want to let go. And then when we get a little bit, then we think we're everything and we think you're just a parasite. Well, listen to what you're saying. At least acknowledge the parasitic flow of most of your people if you want to claim to be different. But you just want to claim to be some heavenly white from Tartary that's always been here in Tartary, then where were you with Prester John? And if you were here with Prester John in the 1500s and before, it is only because you were allowed to be, not because you deserve to be, not because you helped build everything, not because you're the superior knock. Come on, this is the promised land. They all want to try to, hook their way into the promised land, man. This is despicable hijack behavior. I've seen this, a little bit before, but now that I rewatch it, man, we can't take our foot off the neck of Hijack City.
So that when they find these artifacts, they tell the story that they want you to believe. Now, it's important to mention that since the Tartary phenomena has come out, and along with many of our other secret Black history videos and other channels promoting similar content, Black supremacists have taken this concept to claim that Blacks were the only ones in America and that they were responsible for all the architecture around the world, and that whites are but a parasite or mutation who came out and caused genocide and stole their culture and advancements in technology and spirituality. It's not only them. I mean, this phenomena is happening with the white supremacists.
So what about the massacre? What about all the effort to brainwash and take the light from out of our eye? I'm not saying you, but you're grouping this into people that look like this, right? You're saying that they've been helpful to our people because they're Tartarians? Hey, if someone comes up to me looking like this in a positive flow, in a humble flow, that's, cool. But that don't give you my birthright. I might say, hey, man, cool, man, I don't mind if you live down there on that block, you know what I'm saying, on my land. But eventually, what happens to all hijacks, man, is their descendants end up feeling like they own the place. Now you got this cat right here popping off, claiming like, oh, you just think we're a bunch of parasites. Show me a land that you haven't destroyed. Show me a land that you haven't completely ran to the fucking ground. Show me a people that you haven't completely erased. But now we're just part of one big Tartarian human race. One big melting pot. Hijack City. Get your ticket.
Supremacists as well, and the neo-Nazis. The Black supremacists are just as bad as the white supremacists.
Wow.
And to be honest, we want no part of that. This video...
You've already taken part of it by labeling any Negroes that are learning about their true history and being excited and, just to know that not only do they have a home, but they have the home. And you can't give them the home. So if we can't have our home right here in Nagaville in India Superior, if we can't have our home, then where do we go? Asia. We got to go back to Africa again. You see how that loops back around? Back to Africa. Which one, man? Which one? Which Africa, man? Where can a Naga have a home? Where can a Prester John have a kingdom? Where can Jerusalem be? If Jerusalem's America, if the kingdom of Israel's right here in America, you got to be here too, right? Because, they all don't look that way, they have to look like you too, right? Yes, that's a parasite, but a parasite just can't see themselves. They just talk in circles.
Video was actually going to be part of the secret Black history, but I think that we don't really want to contribute to that anymore.
Whoa, so he was going to add more to the Naga history, but now he's not even going to contribute to it no more because so many Nagas is popping off.
As happening with the white supremacists as well and the neo-Nazis. The Black supremacists are just as bad as the white supremacists, and to be honest, we want no part of that. This video was actually going to be part of the secret Black history, but I think that we don't really want to contribute to that anymore,
Right.
as we've seen several Black supremacists on the channel comment some very harmful and dividing.
So he wants to take up for his people. You Black people are saying mean things, so I'm not going to give you any more information, just like a hijack would.
Rhetoric that is just simply not true. Our intention was never to pander to any race. If you go back and watch them, it was just to stop the current divide that we have now in the modern day. To show.
But you're still colonizing, man. By not giving these people their land, you're still taking it from them in 2021. You're just too, wrapped up in hijackville to see clearly. You're giving them some truth, but you're dangling it in front of them like some type of steak, in front of a pit bull and say, I'm not going to give you no more because this pit bull might be too strong and think he the boss of me. But we're just talking about the dog-headed tribes. You don't want to claim no dog-headed connection, no Atlantean dog-headed connection. You tell the Nagas that they connected to Ireland just like Benjamin Franklin did. You tell the Nagas that they connected to all this Scotland, right? Just like the Andrews are. And they're indigenous to this Atlantis, you call it. But we're talking Mu, we're talking Lemuri, we're talking all this flow, right? You got that part of it. But then you got to say, but so were we. But so were we. So were you the creator's creation or the creation's creations? Were you created by these same Moors that you over here firing shots at? I'll wait.
To show that Blacks have a connection with Ireland, which most African Americans have no knowledge of. The goal was always to unite and stop all the hate towards different races. Sure, I agree that Blacks are Aborigines to the Americas and the
Double talk. I agree that you're Aboriginal. Look up what Aboriginal means. That means by birthright. That means that this is their land. Look at these people walking in their land. They're not over here sharing it with you. If they allowed you to be here, it was from the kindness of their very heart to be in the kingdom of the Prester, of Khalifa. You don't know much about what you're saying. It's pure ignorance and arrogance that gets you caught up in these webs, Hijack City. You give it up. You know that they're Aboriginals, but
leftover continent of Mu, or as we know, the island of California. But they were not, I repeat, we're not the only ones.
See what I'm saying? So you say you're not doing it for the hate or for the race divide, but you can't give these people their land without saying, but you're not the only one on this land. That's a parasite. Because you cannot claim no original connection to this land, nor are you bringing out any recon to connect so-called whites to the original creation and pop off of this land, the original people here, originals. So these people that you call black supremacists are popping off because they're the originals and they have a land of their own and they're already home. And before they can celebrate, you're going to label them and title them a derogatory title, a confused title, give them some history, tell them that they didn't come off of ships, that they're from here, but
Black history, but I think that we don't really want to contribute to that anymore, as we've seen several Black supremacists on the channel comment some very harmful and dividing rhetoric that is just simply not true.
Hijack.
Our intention was never to pander to any race.
You're pandering to your own race by including yourself in our empire. By acting like we're not good enough to have an empire of our own with a land of our own. But Genghis Khan can have Mongolia, right? Hannibal, is this powerful African, emperor popping off. But we can't have the Americas, but you admit that we the Aboriginal. You admit that we the Aboriginal, right? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because it says that we are the Aboriginal, the copper color. But we know there ain't no Aboriginal. We're just talking about the original. But even if you look up Aboriginal, let's go. The first kind. So look at the double talk from Hijack City. He's going to admit that you copper color cons, as you just saw, as an American, the copper color races. So we're not talking about no proxy Indian that's claiming to be copper color suddenly because they hear all these copper colors, Nagas popping. Oh, we're copper color too. Stop it. These Nagas were so copper color that this is the definition of the Naga, the American. Okay, that's how copper color these Americans are. These current proxies and all these. Oh, here's my Indian pictures from the 1800s. Here's my Indian pictures from the 1900s. Those proxies are not so copper color that they're the definition of an American. That you must claim like, yo, this is, copper color cons right here. And even so, man, you know who we are. You know they found us here. You know these Negroes are. You know what this is about. You know this is Judea, Managa. You know this is the land of the Prester. So stop playing color games. We're playing reality. We're not even playing reality. We live in reality. Because these copper color races are getting pulled out their cars by the popo and having to still go through all this turmoil because of the invasion that you want to call it being victimized. You don't want to be we being victimized every day, mofo. And you admit that we're aboriginals? Oh, thank you. You admit that we're the original? Thank you. That means you admit that we're the first, the original, the primitive, the prime, the first inhabitants of a country. Aboriginal tribes of America, right? Original, first. So you admit that we're first, but we're not the only ones here. We don't need to find out if we're the only ones here to know that if we're the first, that means that we are the Khan or the Presters, the India superiors, which is not black supremacy, it's superiority. It's on the map. Did a black man discover the fountain of youth? Did this Prester John, Prester Juan already have the fountain? Would he be a black supremacist to you? Mind unveiled, I'm sure you would also call him a black supremacist. If he tells you to get the hell up off his land, get the hell up off his land. He's a black supremacist. We black supremacists. Okay. But we also are the first. That's all I'm talking about, because you just admitted that the originals are the first, right? The aboriginals. One more time. What did you just admit to?
If you go back and watch them, it was just to stop the current divide that we have now in the modern day. To show that blacks have a connection with Ireland, which most African Americans have no knowledge of.
And this is what we continue to drop on. And this is why repetition breaks the spell. To break the spell, we got to keep the code. So we keep the code of our creator. I don't know what you know about that, Mind and Veil, but it gives us the frequency to connect things at a higher rate. To get back to the Tao. You see this Negro right here? He's just like this Negro right here. You see that red, ruddy brown? This Negro, that's copper color, man. You see that red, ruddy brown? This Andrews is of the land of Rus or Russia, which you'll also call the origin of Scottish, which you're claiming, oh, we know that we're Irish. Yes, with the Irish are ruddy. Why? Because the Rus of Scotland are also ruddy, because we are the royals. We are the supreme superior Naga of the Rex Nagoos Prester John, and we're not being supremacists. We're telling you the truth. And you're giving us little tidbits of it, calling us, some derogatory flow. But we just know, look, man, we're getting the babies out the bathwater.
The goal was always to unite and stop all the hate towards different races. Sure, I agree that blacks are aborigines to the Americas and the
Well, if we're aborigines, I think you're saying that we're first. And if you admit that we're first, then what's the problem?
leftover continent of Mu, or as we know, the island of California, but they were not, I repeat, we're not the only ones in America at this time.
You just said we're first. You said that we're aboriginals, right? You just said we're first, right?
Sure, I agree that blacks are aborigines to the Americas and the
we're first.
Leftover continent of Mu, or as we know, the island of California, but they were not, I repeat, we're not the only ones in.
But we're first. You didn't follow that up with saying, but white people are aboriginals. No, you just said they're not. You first people are not the only ones, right? You didn't follow that up in saying, let me prove that my whiteness is first. You didn't say that. You didn't say, let me prove that these white people are first anywhere on earth. You didn't prove these white people are first anywhere. You just said, I admit you copper color aboriginals are first. Originals, first, primes. But you're not the only ones here. But we're first. You hijack. Because you're admitting we're first, you're also admitting that it's our land. And we're not being supremacist by letting you know that. We're letting you know we are superior in the superior India, the old world. We have the vortex, we have the keys, we have the frequency. This was never given to you. This was never given to your people. You were never first. That's not our problem. Don't try to project it on us. We had to pay our dues, you know what I'm saying? As the first cons, we had to pay our dues. We had a code to keep. We broke our code. We let the doors open for these hijacks to claim our titles. And if you're not first, you can't be Aboriginal. And if you're not Aboriginal, you can't be an American. It's a native of America originally applied to the first, right? The Aboriginals or the copper colored Khans. Who? The Khans of the land of Prester John, which you call Tartary or Hell. The Khans of the Rus, which we're connecting with the Scottish, which is already here because we know we're talking to Princess Scotia. But let's go. What else is here? The Fountain of Youth. Did a black man discover it? Is it the truth? Is it black supremacy to you? Or is it the Prester Flow? Is it reality right in your face bone? For the dismount, man, before I go crazy.
Wow. In America at this time. And it's the contribution of multiple races that is in fact responsible for the creation of what we now.
Here we go, multiple races. Everybody's in on it. Look at all these devils. Yeah, we help build your civilization, black people. Come on, man.
All know is Tartaria. Again, we don't want any part in the supremacy stuff of any race, so.
Then get off of India Superior. And know that what other land can you go to and claim as a melting pot? You don't do that with Africa and say, oh, that was this. You don't do that with all this Asia, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you have to do it here. Because outside of this, you can't lay claim to nothing else. So here comes Tartary. Here comes your perspective of our land.
It's just about time that people stop taking this information to suit their own bias and pushing
Really?
their own racist narratives to continue the divide that was originally created by the new elite. Otherwise,
And this is their favorite thing. Oh, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. We've already been divided. We are now uniting in truth. Knowing where we are helps us unite in truth. Divide and conquer? You can't divide and conquer us when we're uniting. Us telling you who we are as a tribe, just like the Moabite flow. This Moabite can say you guys are dividing and conquering by telling us the truth of what happened with this more and more war with the Prester John Genghis Khan flow. He could do that, but instead he said, nah, man, I apologize for our indiscretions. We will do better towards the world with love, truth, peace, friendship, and justice. I hope you mean it. I don't deny anything you stated. I have no choice but to listen at this time. I commend your work. In fairness to our lost families, I will promote this page for self-awareness. He's not saying you're dividing and conquering by telling us the truth about the Moabite tribe, Israelite tribe connection. Family, more on more war. He's not throwing that argument. That's a fallacy, man. That's a filibuster, man. He's not throwing that out there. He's not saying you're dividing and conquering. He's saying thank you for that truth. I don't deny anything you're saying. Only the hijack is coming out saying that, oh, well, you guys are just using that to make us feel bad. Only the hijack is doing that. Only the hijack is saying you guys are just falling for the Illuminati divide and conquer, man. You can't do that after you've already been privy to the invasion. Without the invasion, without Columbus, you wouldn't be here. Oh, yes, you would because of Tartary, right? Hijack City, you're not proving no bit of whiteness as first. You're not proving no bit. And look, Ahab to all, so-called white people that are choosing up. This ain't about you. This is about first. And if you got a problem with first, if you can't deal with Aboriginal or original, right, as first, then when they're talking copper colored cons, they're talking first. And if you're saying that they're first, then it was theirs. If I say, I'll give you this wallet first, you bought the wallet first, it's your wallet. Because other people may have stumbled across my wallet, doesn't make it theirs. My naga, if you build a house, you build it. You're the first to live in it. Somebody comes later, oh, well, they helped build the terrace, and yeah, but that's not their house. Imagine a hijack coming to your house and they start building. And you're like, what are you doing building on my house? Trust me, I'm helping you. Then later on, they claim it to be their own house. Well, it's mine too, right? We helped you build it. Hijack City, were you first? Is this your house originally? You can't say, I admit you're the Aboriginal because you're saying you admit we're the original, prime, first inhabitants of this country. This means even if you popped up here and there, we are first here. We are the superior Naga. We have the keys to the fountain of youth, the vortexes, the mysteries, the mythologies, all the spectacular magic you've been hearing about. We have that first magic. We have that prime magic, that prime flow. If you admit we're first, then you have to admit that it's ours. Don't you see that? By default, you just body bagged yourself. I admit they're first, but hey, don't get caught up in divide and conquer. Let us in, guys. Don't let them make you push us away. Hey, we invaded you, but so what? We helped you build this place. Don't let them divide and conquer you. Hijack City, man. I mean, for real, for real.
to show that blacks have a connection with Ireland, which most African Americans have no knowledge of. The goal was always to unite and stop all the hate towards different races. Sure, I agree that blacks are aborigines to the Americas and the leftover continent of Mu, or as we know, the island of California. they were not, I repeat, were not the only ones in America at this time. And
only does not mean first. You see how he did that? So he didn't say they weren't the only first ones. He said they weren't the only ones. That means you came later, which means it's not yours. Hijack, you just body bagged yourself. If you admit we're first, what are you talking about? There's no argument past that point. It's ours. We are the original seed of HaWah popping off right here in the ancient world. First people means first, my naga. Then you come later and take everything because you helped out. Hijack City. Prove it.
And it's the contribution of multiple races that is in fact responsible for the creation of what we now know as Tartaria.
Hijack.
Again, we don't want any part in the supremacy stuff of any race, so it's just about time that people stop taking this information to suit their own bias and pushing their own racist narratives to continue the divide that was originally created by the new elite, otherwise known as the Phoenician Venetians.
Hijack.
Now, from our research, there were 3 main civilizations in America that contributed to the Tartarian outposts that were here in ancient times. 1, the Moors, or the remnants of Mu.
So he's going to group all black people under this Moor title, the remnants of Mu. Well, you know, a little truth in that, right? Because we're talking about the original Muons, right? From the Mu connection in the Pacific. But they wouldn't go under the title Moors, man. Another fallacy.
Who came from California and the lands of the Pacific, and those on the east coast of America that sailed in with the inhabitants from Ireland, otherwise known as the Fomorians and the mixed-race Druids. 2, the Irish or ancient Scythians who were white but
You just said the Irish were black. But now they're white, but
also mixed as well, similar to the
white but mixed. The Irish are white but mixed, man. Even Benjamin Franklin said they all swarthy, black, Negroes, so-called, right? So stop the play. You're trying to claim the Scythians. The Scythians are the Scots. The Scythians are the Scots. The Scots are the Scythians. These are the Rus and the Picts the same. The Scotias are the Scythians, are the Scots. Dodger on hijack. They call them Saracens, right? But would he call himself a Moor? Or are we just talking about the lost tribes of Israel right here in the promised land? Who's Prester John, Mineville? Let's go for the dismount.
To the Moors who came from Europe. These are told as the legends of the Vikings who first visited before Columbus. This is also related to the stories of the Jews or the ancient Hebrews, the Irish.
Hold up. So everybody he's naming are really swarthy Nagas, but look how he's tying in the hijack to these people. Except the first one, he's just gonna say, "Oh, you know, it's the Moors from Mu," and then he's gonna tie in all the mixed race folks, right? As if he's giving any receipts to this. Any receipts? No receipts. Just a slideshow. But let's go.
California and the lands of the Pacific, and those on the east coast of America that sailed in with the inhabitants from Ireland, otherwise known as the Fomorians and the mixed-race Druids. 2, the Irish or ancient Scythians who were white but also mixed as well, similar to the Moors who came from Europe. These are told as the legends of the Vikings who first visited before Columbus.
In the Vikings, the 6 kings are also Naga Swarthy kings. These are all Hebrews.
This is also related to the stories of the Jews or the ancient Hebrews.
Bang. So why would the Vikings be related to the Hebrews? Same people.
As recounted by the Mormons, they just came from different areas from around the world.
And if the Mormons is recounting it with the Nephite flow, we already know they Nagas.
3, Far Easterners who came from Egypt, the Ottoman Empire.
Egypt, Ottoman Empire, more Nagas. So every person he named are Nagas, but for us to say that they're Negroes, so-called, or swarthy, melanated tribes, he would say that's black supremacy, right? Or is it true? The original, what, you talking about Egypt, Ottomans, Scythians, Scots, all these, you know what I'm saying, Moors from Mu, all Nagas, man. That's not supremacist. That's fact. You're talking first, right? You admit we first, but we can't be first. Man, you hijack city.
China, Japan, and other Pacific Ring islands. Many of these races were mixed as well, so
this is not what they look like. Stop giving us Rudy Tooty finger paintings, man.
It's hard to truly classify this based on just race, as Tartaria was a global.
I do like this map, though. I told you do got some drop. Septim, right? Like the seven cities of gold, right? You see Cibola right here, Cibola. This is right around the four corners would be. Shambhala is Cibola, is Shabala, is Cibola, Shambhala. So we know where we're at right here. Back to that Red Sea that the bro asked in the comments. Hey, did Moses part the Red Sea at the Grand Canyon? This is where Prester John would be right here, right? Bing bow. Notice that they act like they can't map the rest of this out. Oh, where's the rest of the map? You think they forgot it? Or do they not want you to see that the rest of the map is just really connecting with Grand Tartary, right? This South America is just connected with. They act like, oh, we can't finish the map. No, you don't want us to see that we're in Asia. So you act like you have a half-assed map because the rest of it would just show the proof that we are in Asia or India Superior with the priest king, Prester John. And they give us these Rudy Tooty half-done maps because they don't want us to show the rest of India Superior because they'll show the rest of Asia. They can't give it all away, man. They can't give it all away. But I'm digging this map. You see Kivera is Heveria, Kiver, Heber, Iberia. Cibola, Shambhala right there. You see a lot of the drop right here, man. So, we got something else to dig on with some map packs.
Global empire. What we call Native Americans today are just a percentage of the natives that were already in America. They have been called Tartarians in some.
Oh, yeah. So those proxies are the real Tartars. Anything to do with Genghis Khan?
Text, and that these races were created after some great cataclysm. We also have to understand how Atlantis plays into this as well, because it is said that America was a part of this ancient Atlantis, and it has changed significantly over the ages. Aborigine is kind of not the right word to use for any of these types of people because these land masses change after every age, and after Atlantis had flooded, other land masses rose, and so the people had fled all over. At first, there was nowhere to inhabit in the West, so many of the inhabitants of Atlantis ventured out to the east. The Fomorians had already done this before Atlantis flooded and were there when many of the Atlanteans began to migrate into the lands of ancient Ibernia or Ireland and Spain. This is when the Tartary Age began, and they colonized all of the east continents, and the Druids, or those from ancient Ibernia, who were a mixed culture, began spreading the ancient knowledge of Atlantis around the entire world. They made their way back to the Western America, or ancient Atlantis, and began creating early civilizations there composed of many different races, far before Columbus or the Spanish had ever came. In fact, these are actually told in the legends of the Spanish as we've gone over in Tartaria Part 3.
Everything I'm talking to it, man, everything you're bringing up is a relation to invasion. Them creating all these other races and doing all this stuff is a process literally specific to a colonizing. Atlantis was colonizing on this land. Atlantis is not first, is not original. So you're laying claim to something that is already, hijacked by default, man. And we're waking up out of hijacked city.
They're called the Legends or the Adventures of Esplandian, which talked about these times when the Moors, the ancient Ibernians or Irish, Spanish, and Ottoman empires were all in America or terra firma, which were the remaining lands of Atlantis. Many of the buildings of Atlantis actually survived the flood as well, and were still intact in these lands of terra firma. As we've mentioned that at some point there were cataclysms which caused mass death and or many to retreat into underground. But many of these cities that we know today, like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, were all created by this Tartarian civilization. And they're still being used to this day because we could not repeat the work that they did, so it was hijacked. And that includes the railroads,
Come on, man. You the hijack, man. Nah, man. I'm done, man. Let me, let them, kick off some of this underground drop. I think we made our point, what we do here in Drop Nation. I think it's clear, at least for us, and that's what we do it for. The hijack. Yeah, man. It definitely was hijack, man.
world architecture and underground tunnels. Many cities, in fact, have underground cities and tunnels as if they were built on even older foundations. What's been hidden from the human race is that 200 to 300 years ago, there was a catastrophic event that left many of the buildings around the world buried up to 20 feet beneath the ground. First, let's begin with some of the most famous examples of these ancient cities and tunnels. Under St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican necropolis at depths varying between 5 to 12 meters below surface level, supposedly it is a pagan Christian burial ground with several medium-sized stone mausolea and some other ruins which include a fractured piece of a large triumphal arch. We have all heard about Debunking in Turkey, which is said to be almost 5,000 years old, which is an 18-story underground system. They're still not sure who built it and why, but interestingly, there are other melted stone structures in the area. So maybe they were avoiding some type of catastrophe and were forced to create a society underground. In 1992, in the Chinese village of Longyu, a uniquely curious local named Wu Anai pooled his money with his neighbors to buy a water pump and begin siphoning out the pond in his village. He discovered the first in a series of massive hand-carved caves, the origin of which is almost a complete mystery. The Russian Kremlin, the largest surviving fortress in Europe, it is associated with a number of secrets, including underground tunnels, seems to be buried into the ground quite a bit, secret chambers for hiding treasure, and supposedly Ivan the Terrible's library that contains several ancient texts from the Old World. The Paris catacombs are another famous example of underground cities, and some have proposed the bones are actually being used as a battery to generate power. Hidden beneath the streets and bridges of Edinburgh are several underground closes and chambers. Closed off to the public for hundreds of years, these places remained frozen in time, just waiting to be rediscovered. Today, some of them have been excavated and reopened. There's still many parts that have not been opened to the public, and it is commonly known that Edinburgh was built on an ancient city. There are also underground tunnels all over Egypt, beneath the Sphinx, many lost tombs, but most famously, the labyrinth under Hawara, which is an ancient legendary temple said to contain 3,000 rooms full of hieroglyphs and paintings. Mount Tsurugi in Japan is steeped in mystery. According to one local legend, the mountain is actually a giant man-made pyramid, and another legend says that a hoard of King Solomon's secret treasure lies buried within.
Okay.
A giant snake believed to be guarding the treasure has been sighted on many occasions.
Oh, we got a dragon guarding the treasure again.
The caves of Hercules in Toledo, Spain, are surrounded by mysteries and legends. They summarize in a certain way that the underground tradition of Toledo says that the place was carved by Tubal or Hercules the Egyptian, and would be the secret chair from which Hercules himself taught the occult sciences. Now, that's just the surface level. I mean, you can find countless stories like this globally, but there are more that are not that well known, especially in the United States today.
It's a glimpse into a hidden world below downtown Chattanooga. Good evening. I'm Natalie Genereski.
And I'm Latricia Thomas. Stairways leading nowhere, arched doorways that were once street level are some clues to downtown life before 1880.
Stories and rumors still fly about underground Chattanooga. News Channel 9's Beth Newhoff gives us a rare look of what's really there.
Walk the streets of downtown Chattanooga today, and amid the shops and the restaurants, you'll see evidence of the Chattanooga long forgotten.
Mystery surrounds a Chattanooga that existed in the 1800s. Torrential rains caused flooding, devastating downtown on a regular basis. The solution? Quietly raise the town, leaving tales still told of the city that lies beneath.
This would have been heading down towards street level. So.
Local history buffs Mari Nicely and Matt McGauley take me underground to see evidence of the original Chattanooga the public doesn't see.
I think a lot of people think, okay, what they did is they just bricked in all these things and threw a bunch of dirt in. This is what's the most interesting part is, look at the stonework.
But official records of the plant are mostly silent, according to Nicely. Decorative columns, beadboard ceilings, and arched doorways hinting at the past.
We heard about an amazing underground discovery in Leavenworth. We had to send a reporter to get some video. KCTV5, Saray Chin is live now with what she found underground. Saray?
Well, Carolyn, this is downtown Leavenworth, but below my feet, there's an underground mystery down here that not a lot of people know about or can tell us why it was created.
Wow.
We take our descent to the incredible mysteries below.
So it definitely does look, this is obviously a door.
It is dark and musty.
We're gonna go up here and you're gonna be in another storefront.
It is a city, perhaps long ago used for commerce. Windows, doors, and narrow paths lead you to the storefronts.
They were stores of some type. We just don't know what they were selling, who was running them.
Jennifer Lemon serves as our tour guide. She works for a title company upstairs and gave us access to the underground.
We know that it was pretty secretive, whatever it was that was down here, because not too many people know anything about it.
Above is downtown Leavenworth at 4th and Delaware. The underground world stretches several city blocks and possibly beyond. Some speculate this was created in the 1800s. It could have been used during slavery or for fugitives. And then there are the myths and tall tales.
So what type of myths? What type of tall tales? It's in 1800s. Again, we got the Chickamauga Wars popping off. A lot of the indigenous flow going on. Think about the cities underground, man. Connect that with the ancient tree roots, man, and see what you're getting. Let's get a little bit more for the dismount.
Good Monday afternoon. We're getting all ready for Halloween as we open the door on the haunted Shanghai tunnel tour you can take in the Old Town part of Portland.
Belly flop.
System looked very ancient. It was formerly lit. They arm bands wielded gold.
Let's get it from here.
Within the city, several perfectly preserved mummies, which wore thick arm bands, wielded gold spears, etc. The city had apparently been. Turn to the subject of Paiute Indian legends. At one point, two of the men, Jack and Bill, described their experience with an underground city which they claimed to have discovered after one of them had fallen through the bottom of an old mine shaft near Wingate Pass. They found.
All right, so we're talking about indigenous flow, and what did they find underground, man?
Found themselves in a natural underground cavern which they claimed to have followed about 20 miles north into the heart of the Panamint Mountains. To their amazement, they allegedly found themselves in a huge, ancient, underground cavern city. They claimed that they discovered within the city several perfectly preserved mummies, which wore thick arm bands, wielded gold spears, etc. The city had apparently been abandoned for ages, except for the mummies, and the entire underground system looked very ancient.
So the proxy Indian can't even tell you nothing really about this ancient city, right? But they're finding gold and gold spears and swords. Kind of reminds you of the Arizona flow. And we're saying, if you want to connect to this, this is beyond, what you can try to genealogy to. This is about first people and a story of the first people. But what are they finding here? What kind of cities? What's in the Grand Canyon? Shout out to the bro that just sent some wall art from the Grand Canyon. We'll get that for the dismount. We're doing a trifecta dismount, man. 432, you know how we do it.
It was formerly lit, they found out by accident, by an ingenious system of lights fed by subterranean gases. They claimed to have seen a large, polished round table which looked as if it may have been part of an ancient council chamber, giant statues of solid gold, stone vaults and drawers full of gold bars and gemstones of all kinds.
In 1885, coal miners in a small city of Missouri were mining a shaft deep within the earth, when all of a sudden, they broke into a huge underground cavern. And the very shocked and curious miners decided to go take a look, even though that they knew that it could be very dangerous. And what they found inside should have changed our history forever. That is, of course, if the reports are true, and there are multiple sources. Now, what they found inside was basically a huge, wonderful buried city. It was said to have incredible masonry, tons of artifacts, stone benches all over the place, metal statues, a stone fountain that flowed with pure clean water that even had a hint of lime in it. And lying beside this marvelous fountain were portions of a giant human skeleton that was 3 times the size of a regular human.
In recent years, local leaders have made it a top priority to keep our young professionals here. That's led to creation of more education and job opportunities, as well as a revamped social scene.
Tonight in a special report on Louisville's new nightlife, we also take an exclusive look back at its beginning in a time of gangsters, outlaws, and a secret underground. Here's WLKY's Eric King.
Now, you got to be careful going down these steps. Are pretty steep, so just hold on. I would almost stake my life that Al Capone was here at least once or twice. There was 2 doors. One of the doors led down and out to the street, and the other door led down to the Rathskeller, where he could run through the Rathskeller and into the basement kitchen. He could have taken the 2 series of tunnels and got away from the police.
Many consider this the birthplace of nightlife for Louisville's elites. During the 1920s Prohibition era, when alcohol and gambling...
And I mean, just think about like the Underground Railroad, man, and all that stuff, man. And with, Harriet Tubman or Amanetta Ross, she had to be an indigenous Naga, to know about the underground flow. You don't just come up here off a boat and know about the underground flow. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another body bag for the illusion, man. You know what I'm saying? Go get the rest of this drop. Again, man, ain't nothing personal to the bro. He does great work. A lot of these guys do great work, man. John Levi, Mud Fossil, all that, man. We get the babies out the bathwater because can't nobody truly tell our story, like the original, like the first, You can't claim that we're the first, but then the first land, even if we're the first inhabitants of the country is still yours too. Only a hijack could think like that. So what happens to the first people in the originals? What if you were the first and we came later and said, yeah, but we helped you do some stuff and, you guys are just supremacists, man. You guys are just black supremacists. Come on, man. If you're the first, you're the first. We don't go to other people's stuff who's the first. Only hijacks do that. Only a hijack would come to someone else's land that they know is the first and then literally hijack it and say, nah, but I'm the American. I might not be the copper-colored tribe or I might be the copper-colored tribe. Either way, they're trying to take the American title that are found here. The first, right? Well, if we're the first, we're the first. You're going to have to give it up, man. We can't be the first and then you take everything we got. That's back to the hijack now applied to descendants of Europeans born here, right? You're coming with the same shit, but in a 2021 remix, a high, philosophical, highly intellectual remix, right? You're not going to say this straight up, but you are going to say, yeah, I know you're the first, but you're not the only one. That's the same thing as saying now applied to the descendants of the Europeans born in America. But you're not even a European, because that's not what a European really looks like. That's not what a Scot looks like. That's not what the Israelite looks like, right? That's not what Europe looks like. This is what Europe looks like, and we're still just talking the lost tribes of Israel, and we're talking about the priest king of Israel is Prester John, who's the Khan of the 3 Indias, and this is India Superior. Don't talk to us about it, man. Talk to the British Museum. This is a kingdom, not the Tartarian kingdom, the Israelite kingdom, the kingdom of the Khans, the kingdom of the originals, the first. And you can't slideshow your way into this Prester land with the fountain, man. You're talking about the land of Prester John. Please get it straight. You're talking about the first, man. And that's all we talking about. the primitive, right? The prime. Hey, perfect dismount to the prime one, man. Primitive technology, who is a so-called white, but you know what? We still get the babies out the bathwater because he's teaching us some of our stuff back. Stuff that he learned, you know what I'm saying, from the first people, right? He's teaching the first people some of their old trades, some of their old flow back. And I think that's just swell, man. I think that's right, all right, man. So, A-hop to Bam Bam. And you know what, man? Before I do that, man, let me check the time. Actually make a nice smooth quadruple dismount all up out of here. I gotta pull this link up. Hey man, ThaWaDa to the tribe, man. Galen Coles, man, who sent this wall art. He said this is a this is coming right out of the Grand Canyon. This is wall art from inside of the Grand Canyon. And we've seen little pieces of this on the GE Kincaid flow and certain links, certain websites, but this is a vantage point I've never seen, and it's breathtaking. When we talk about Egypt, Atlantis in America and all that, this is just body bag for the illusion. Now, look at these swarthy nagas on the wall, right? All right, yeah. And whether we're talking Egypt, whether we're talking, Ham, Shem, Japheth, whether we're talking any of them, you're still talking the same family. You're talking about tribes of family. Like you and your brother, y'all can have children, and you could say this is the tribe of Stewart. Or yeah, this is the tribe of Nathan. You know what I'm saying? And those are your children. Those are your children, but y'all still the same family, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it started, right? Ham, Shem, Japheth, that whole flow. But it's all happening here. And again, you're talking about Supreme Naga. Now, are these Nagas black supremacists? Are they black supremacists? By saying, no, this is our kingdom, this is what we do, you know what I'm saying? Oh, but we're sprinkled in here too. That doesn't make it yours. It doesn't make it any ownership for you. You have no inheritance here. That's not by code, by law, by birthright. You know what I'm saying? You're just wanting to find a home because you don't got a home. And that's a parasite 101. But my bro Garland Coles, just drops body bags for the illusion, man. Inside the Grand Canyon, my knock. Where's the Grand Canyon? Oh, right, where this Prester John is, the Grand Khan. So what the Grand Khan have to do with, this whole epicenter of this Egypt flow? What does it have to do with the Moshe? What's it got to do with the Joseph flow? Coat of many colors, blue, purple, red. Yeah, where you have Egypt, you have Hebrews, my knock. Where you have Atlantis, you have Egypt. Where you have Mu, you have Lemuria, you have the Muan. You got these Nagas that are the Dracons, you know what I'm saying? And it's a dragon on serpent war, more. But even the more can say, hey, I see clearly now, man. Even with permission of the Pharaoh, I see that you have a right to pop off. And I appreciate that, man. And look here, right in Arizona, man. Right in Arizona. Body bag for the illusion. Hey, Bam Bam, pop off, man, for the dismount. This is the first, at least the first listed now on his site. This is the first drop from Primitive Technology. We'll be checking in more, but I just wanted to do a throwback and just check in with my bro. Hey, what you up to, Primitive Technology, man? Hey, you want to teach the Naga some of our stuff back? Because we want to pop off, man. Shalom to the tribe. Let's go, Bam Bam. What my man Bam Bam up to, man? You got some sticks and stuff? Okay. Bam Bam got some sticks. What you gonna do with that, Bam Bam? Oh, okay. You're gonna use that for the rope stuff. Okay. You're gonna rope around. How you gonna do it? Okay, nice little A-frame, Bam Bam. Little A-frame with some sticks. All right. Wow. Let's go, Bam Bam. Yeah, we can do it too, my nigga. We can do it too. I get inspiration from Bam Bam, man. I'm inspired, my nigga. Hey, where my fire started at? Survival Drop 101. Y'all remember about that bird nest? Y'all got that bird nest flow? How to do that bird nest with that tinder? Get them survival drops 101. Okay. A little ropey dope. Man, my nigga Bam Bam a fool. He climbing up these trees, man. Go Bam Bam, go, man. Pop up. All we need is a couple Bam Bams. Give me 1 or 2 Bam Bams, we good. 1 or 2 Bam Bams, we good, man. Pop up. What we got here? What we got here? Like you gotta get your hands dirty sometime. You gotta touch that mud. You gotta touch that soil. You gotta touch Ama. Imagine what a couple Nagas can do. Imagine what a couple Nagas can do. Yeah, man, I'm popping off with this, man. Joy World. Joy World, my Naga. Joy World. Couple Nagas in the dream, man. Couple Nagas in the dream. Shout out to Bam Bam. I just wanted to check in on you, man. I just wanted to check in on you, Bam Bam, man. You've been a big part of our investigation, whether you know it or not. Primitive technologies. Go dig on it, man. You know, go get some ideas. There's a lot of other good cats out there building stuff, you know what I'm saying? But this is one of the ones that we started with. We're loyal, you know what I'm saying, to our humble beginnings. Love to Bam Bam. I mean, Bam Bam popping off, man. Bam Bam popping off. You know who's popping off, man? Only the real one, man. Only the real one. Only the real one, man. Hey, we out of here, baby. Love to the bro. 5eyesMah for this debut. You know what I'm saying? This etheric flow he's kicking. I love the artwork. I love everything about, man. You know what I'm saying? The frequency of the bro. I'm just so proud to be a part of the journey, man. We out of here, baby.
Coming through, better watch my brain. Get your history, don't watch my name. ThaWaDa, I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Ganja lights outside red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. ThaWaDa, I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body right in the top too shoddy. Ganja lights outside red ruddy. 4, 3, 2, gonna hear me clearly. Most high love me or hide me dearly. Faucet flowing, water cure me. Oh, wow, I bow, please gear me. Power me up, destroy they tyranny. Media shower, dies they morning. Swinging and banging, lucrative learning. Flowing my wisdom, saving my earning. Opening shades, peel back the curtain. Beating the beat and watching them hurting. Frequency right, then the tribe, I'm alerting. Primary flow, I'm open and burping. Hijack energy, slipping and swerving. Banging and falling, crashing and burning. Rapping in rhythm and evil, I'm cursing. Hijack work, really ain't working. 5G don't work over my zone. VV just ain't my favorite stone. All day
they real or are they really clone? Never leave while I'm an organ. Organize energy in every song. Most high connected through my lung. Give me 4 seasons on my tongue. Storm from my mouth, then watch them run. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Get your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body rock in the top too shoddy. Ganja locked outside, red ruddy. Coming through, better watch my range. Coming through, better watch my range. Forget your history, don't watch my name. If wide I know who to blame. Little dirt never hurt nobody. Copper top with a melanin body. Body rock in the top too shoddy. Ganja locked outside, red ruddy.
Already know though. Tribal Mafia. Hit the link below for the 5eyesMah playlist. Show Ma that ultimate AHOP and continue to get an AHOP to the bread. Natural by law. Pop up, pop up, pop up, pop up. Yeah, that goes out to my bread, natural by law, man. Bodies on bodies, man. Hey, you know, this gym water, man, you know, I look forward to trying mine today. Fresh out the wrapper. I got the Obsidian Flow in my joint. I feel like I'm popping off.
Moshe is left unabated. Moshe is left unabated. That life force never faded. Bodies on bodies in Kalelus. Akis on Akis, the Amaru. We talking Sylvanus to Texas. Genealogy never connected. Their hobbies are digging the bodies. Pomegranate, the house of Ramani. Chickamauga was fighting them zombies. Now they digging the bodies on bodies. Knock a body down, knock a found without a trace. Knock a field, body of Moshe. This is reality, right in your face. Rock out with that, you rock out with the way. Only the way. I'ma do wonders of water truth. Bodies on bodies in Calais loose. Took off my Jordans to cross over Jordan. My people passed over dry land in order. Excavations of bodies on bodies. Jericho to AI and then Hebron. Arizona State Museum, they drowned them. University of Arizona found them. Ancestor of the Rex and the Goose. Exilarca, the Grand Roost. Bodies on bodies in Calais loose. Kicking it back to the Grand Dragoon. Artifacts from the ground reappeared. Israel reigned for 67 years. Israel 2 ruled for only 6. Israel 3 crowned at 26. Bodies in Calais loose. Moshe is left unabated. Moshe is left unabated. That life force never faded. Bodies on bodies in Calais loose. Akis on Akis, the Amaru. We talking Sylvanus to Texas. Genealogy never connected. The homies are digging the bodies. Pomegranate, the house of Ramani. Chickamauga was fighting the zombies. Now they digging the bodies on bodies. Knock a body down, knock a found without a trace. Knock a field, body of Moshe. This is reality right in your face. Rock out with that, you rock out with the way. 700 to 900 AD. A David on David war was waging. Theodorus, Sylvanus of great kings. American Empire, gaming. Throne that could never be taken. Prince HaWah is famous forever. If we would have done it together, the promised land couldn't be better. Israel 3 was just banished for freeing Sylvanus to Texas. He was the first to break custom for burying dead in the city. He anticipated everything. 100 years since Jacob was king. He stationed himself in the front line. You could just say he's in battle time. You could just say he was KGC. Appointment of priests ruling widely. 895, this life was uncertain. 3,000 killed, we searching for purpose. Bodies and bodies in Calais loose. It's psychologically gentrified truth. Gentrification on the entire nation. Keep telling Nagas right here to be patient. Bodies on bodies in Khalifa. So stressed, we smoking the reefer. Take a break just to get clearer. Take a look at the man in the mirror. Bodies on bodies in America. We're feeling the vibe of hysteria. You give us a land that will tear you up.
We need you to carry us over bodies on bodies in Calais loose. Hey, hop to the real ones. Y'all been surfing the wave in real time magnificently, man. Hey, hop to the dragons on the wall. Copper Dragon, Silver Dragon, Gold Dragon sponsors at 432 The Drop, man. And it's just a pleasure. And it's just, you know, something that we are honored, my noggin, to give the honor to flow right here with the tribe in real time, man. Shalom. We back at you. Look out for Prester John installment 70 in your earbone. Hey, hop to the